Welcome to the Dr. Dare Show live on Facebook and YouTube. I am Dr. Dare and I have special guests. I'll let co-host. She's the co-host now, so so you can speak for yourself, Author Danielle, right?
Absolutely. Author Janelle right here. It's an honor to be back on the Dr. Derek Show. Thank you for having me back.
Oh yes, we're gonna do many more of these, and I'll be on your show hopefully soon, right?
Yes, absolutely. I already
Yes.
asked you. We just got to here. We
Got to
just
coordinate those schedules, yeah. So, welcome everybody. It's been a while since I've had the Dr. Dare show. I've been busy all the month of December, traveling and all of that stuff. But welcome, welcome, welcome. I see a few people on already. When you come in, please click like, click share, and let us know how your week has been. I know for me, my week has been kind of busy, even though it was shorter, it was still kind of busy. What about yours, Daniel?
I was
How was your?
actually sharing right now, so excuse my
Oh
distraction.
no, you
But
do what you got to do.
I've had a fantastic week.
Good,
I've
good.
had a pretty good week. It's been amazing. Like I was telling you before we went live, I started a new job. I really love it. So it's been a door that's open for me. I'm grateful for it. I had an amazing week.
That is awesome. That is awesome to hear.
Mhm.
Yes, yes, yes. Great. So anybody on yet? I see a few people on. Come in and click like, click share, and all of those things. It has been a while. So I'm still lining up guests for the next few shows. I did have the author that was on here a month ago. She has a list of authors that are ready to come on and talk and all of that stuff. So I just got to line everybody up. And so now I do the week because I have so much stuff going on.
You do.
Yeah. But tell us about you had a show the other night
I
that
did.
was really good. Tell us about the topic and kind of how that went.
It was really, really, really a very interesting panel. It was a balanced panel, in my opinion. We had actually three men on there. I was the only woman representing there.
Yes.
Um, but the topic of the show was fatherlessness and chivalry. And
Okay.
we kind of got into single parenting, what it's like to be a single father, what resources are lacking for them as well, the stereotypes that kind of go into single fathers versus single mothers, and how single parents in general need to be recognized, not just the division of the two. And then we talked about if there's going to be a fight for women equality and stuff like that, did it kind of hurt our chances at a guy being chivalrous towards us, because now is that something that's kind of out of the window and outdated? So we talked about all of that. It was really interesting.
Right. And I see he's up here. Concrete Reality TV is
Yes.
on there.
Hey, hey.
Hello, welcome to the show, the Dr. Dare Show. And so tonight's show, I am a mental health therapist. So tonight's show, I'm asking the question, what held you back last year? And was it you or was it other people? I do have a little video that I'm going to share that's going to kind of talk about, this one person who was strictly stuck on this timeline of her life, and it's kind of creating a lot of issues for her. But I wanted that to start the panel, but we'll give people a few more minutes to join. We usually start at 8:40 p.m. Eastern time, so we just get up here and chat. And so, Danielle, you have your book behind you. You know, I'm always wanting you to promote, promote, promote.
Yes, absolutely. The House Without Doors. It is now selling in multiple countries. If you don't got your
Oh
copy, where
wow.
you been? Where you been? It's been a blessing because I've been getting some amazing feedback from the people that have read the book, and a lot of people have said it was eye opening for them. Some of them said it helped them recognize some of their triggers because they weren't able to get through certain parts of the book without tearing up and crying. Some of them
Wow.
said they've had to put the book down and come back to it because they were so mad that they was about to throw the book. So everybody has said that it's been a book that they haven't been able to put down. So the feedback and the people that say that it's influenced them, it's inspired them, that's what it was created for. So it's been amazing.
I love that. I love that. I'm so glad that we connected on this platform right here.
Yes.
So awesome, and I have my copy. I have some.
Yes, yes, and you supported me, and that was amazing. I have to give you a special shout out. Like, y'all, my book was being recognized at a fashion gala, and I found out about it kind of last minute. And your brother here just showed up, did not even tell his sister he was coming, and just popped up. And it was so amazing because I wasn't there by myself, and it was somebody that I felt like I had already worked with, knew my goals, and he really inspired me to really promote my book. You took a lot of great footage for me. I appreciate you, man. That was awesome. That
That
was
was
awesome.
awesome.
That's
Yeah, cause
how authors and people are supposed to work together.
right, right. Yeah, let's share. Let's help expose our books and promote our books and all of that stuff. So good
Absolutely.
stuff. Good stuff.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
you met. I forgot her name, but we met a lot of interesting people at
Araya
that.
Midori.
Yes,
Emmy
yes.
Award winner. She was actually supposed to be a guest on my show that I had 2 days ago with the topic we just mentioned, but she had a family emergency and everything is okay with her. But anyway, she wasn't able to appear on, but we are going to be working together. We've been communicating. She's an amazing woman.
Yes, I could tell from that event. That event was fantastic.
Yes.
Yeah. And I caught the tail end of that show because I did have clients till 7 o'clock, but I did jump on there and it was awesome. The information that I heard and I was like, oh, this is awesome.
So tell
So
me what you've been up to because you're busy all the time. So fill us in on what's been going on with you.
yeah, so seeing clients, I got a full caseload because every year at the start of the year, everybody wants to come in and see therapists and talk to therapists and kind of set goals and things like that, which is why I titled this show that. But doing that and I'm starting a book tour. I've been trying to set up different book. I have one set up in Miami. I'm working on one in Virginia. Um, and I'm going to do a list of different book tours and book fairs and all of that. That's my plan for the year. Started another book, writing another book on grief because on my TikTok, um, I didn't plan on TikTok growing so big, but now it's at 8,200 or something
Way to
people,
go.
and
And you
so
haven't even been at it that long.
right, and 10,000 people you get to kind of start making money and all of that stuff. So it's but I do a lot of grief stuff on there about grief and loss and things like that, and people are really talking and sharing. And I've never went live on my TikTok
Oh,
platform, so that's the next step of this year. So that's another goal that I'm planning on getting that 10,000 following on there, and then transferring those people over here.
absolutely. Well,
So
I'm going
yeah,
to support you in all of that, everything that you are doing. It is
nice.
amazing because I think that I've watched a lot of your videos on TikTok, and it is like it touches, it pulls at the heartstrings because we can relate. Everybody has lost somebody, and everybody,
Right.
and especially when you're in our generation and you get up to our age, you've lost people that were close to you, and how to
Right.
deal with that. How to deal with that is a tough subject to talk about, but you do it so much so that people could relate to it. So I encourage you to keep doing that because it's no.
Yes. Well, and I get a lot of people saying that it's kind of a taboo to talk about death and loss, and so
Mhm.
I just do it, and oh my God, it has grown out of. I looked one day, it was 220K on one video.
Wow.
Just so now it's just yeah, yep. So hey Pat, hey Karen, how was your week? Karen, congratulations on your hopefully your walkthrough with your new place went well. And Dr. Pat, hopefully your research is going well. So you'll soon be getting that dissertation done. Yes, yes. So tonight's topic: what held you back last year? Was it you, other people? What is it? And Daniel, do you feel like you were held back from something last year?
I do, but
Okay.
but see the thing is because even when you presented the topic to me, I was like, I had a phenomenal last year, but I
Okay.
had my toughest year last year as well.
Mhm.
So, like, I started to really ponder the subject today, and I started to think what held me back last year. What I thought was holding me back last year.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
So a lot of times I was in my own head and I was afraid, I was acting out of fear, things like that. And when I look back, I really made a lot of progress. Sometimes we think that we're not making progress and we think that we've been held back. And when we look back, it's like, wait a minute, I accomplished this, 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 this. I should be giving myself a pat on the back. So,
And that is exactly why I did this video, because I knew, even myself, the negative, we call it in therapy, we call it negative self talk. We
mhm,
tell ourselves negative things about ourselves, even if we are accomplishing some of the things that we set out to do. We still tell ourselves these negative thoughts. And
mhm,
so, hey, Tanil, hey, Karen, hey, Pat, hey, everybody out there listening. The topic is what held you back last year? Was it you or other people? Hey, Dawn. Don says, hello, old friend. Your TikTok is so good because people can digest 5 reasons. Thank you
right.
so much. Thank you so
That's
much.
good feedback, Don.
Exactly. So now we got to get Danielle, we got to get you on there.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. Hey, Kevin Williams. And
Kevon.
Kevon. Okay. Who is he related?
No,
Oh, okay. Okay.
it's an O.
Oh, I can't. Okay. There I see now. Kevon. Thanks. How about, yeah, do this and then I can say, there you go. All right. So tonight I selected this video of this young lady kind of telling her story and her struggle of how things changed for her in her life. And I do, he's laughing. I do want, I do want you guys on the audience to kind of share what you feel like held you back. Even if you had a successful year, like Danielle said, even if you had a successful year, what was something that you felt like just kept nagging at you, that you felt like, hey, I couldn't move forward because I was thinking this way or this was happening or whatever. But I'm going to put this video on and we're going to watch that. It's about 13 minutes. Kind of take notes to kind of see what you take from it, and then we'll discuss it. All right. So let's get it up. And
I had not experienced paid time off before this.
What emotions are you secretly addicted to? Because emotions are chemicals you're releasing in your.
When I was 13 years old in the 7th grade, I remember sitting in a homeroom with a friend of mine and boldly planning out my entire life. And at that time, I thought that I was going to get married at 25, buy a house and have kids at 27, become a CEO at 30, and be well on my way towards becoming a millionaire. And I sit here now, maybe 50 days away from my 30th birthday, and I'm back at home living with my mom. I don't have a career. I'm not married. I don't have kids. And my financial life is pretty behind. And when I think about turning 30, I feel very disappointed that a lot of the things I anticipated for my life have not happened. And this year in particular, I've really struggled with feeling like I'm falling behind. And my confidence is down. I feel embarrassed. And I feel like my window to create a good life for myself and get my act together is rapidly closing in on me. And it's very depressing. But I'm trying to heal myself, and I'm trying to heal from the disappointments that I feel and recognize that I'm not alone in feeling this way, because I think particularly millennial and like Gen Z generations, we tend to put a massive amount of pressure on ourselves to achieve certain pivotal moments of like success in our lives. And I'm also trying to learn and practice being kinder to myself and not so critical of my life's journey. When I try to think about where all of this pressure comes from, I think probably the first thing that pops into my mind, and probably everyone's mind, is social media. I think that social media has really warped our idea of how quickly success manifests in life and what you should feel at certain points in your life. And I mean, we know this, right? Like, social media is a highlight of everyone's happiest moments. And when you're seeing these images constantly, whether it's on YouTube or Instagram, or now it's like TikTok, of people living their best lives, and you see them reaching those milestones of like buying a house or having kids or getting a promotion or starting a business and it's successful, you're constantly being bombarded with like, wow, all of these people are living these great, phenomenal lives, and what am I doing? I'm sitting in my bed and I'm scrolling. And it's just very paralyzing, and it makes you feel like, what am I doing wrong? Like, why doesn't my life look like that? Why don't I feel that happy? And it's very dangerous, because we have to constantly remind ourselves that social media is not real. And even when someone is reaching a certain milestone, it doesn't mean that they're actually happy. They could just be presenting themselves that way, because you will never know the real story behind the photo unless you know that person personally and they tell you. But it's so easy to forget that, and it's so easy to fall into the trap of comparison and looking at other people's lives and feeling inadequate because your highlight reel doesn't compare to theirs. But the reality is, you are living your life. You are in your life. You know the emotions that you're experiencing, and you know the mundane, uninteresting points of your life, but you don't know the mundane, uninteresting points of someone else's life that's behind a screen.
Right.
Something that has really been helping me to release myself of all of this pressure is telling myself that I am allowed to curate my life in the way that I choose. Because it's my life, and I have to live it in a way that's going to fulfill me and my soul. And you have that right as well. Like, we don't have to commit to designing our lives in a way that fulfills what society tells us we should be doing. And a big example of that is how many women now are starting to decide that they don't want children at all. Like, I have friends in my own life who are really saying to themselves, you know what? Kids is not really something that I see in my future. And they have a right to make that choice for themselves. My desire to have a home still stands, but because I know that I still want to explore and travel and see different cities and different countries, my mindset is a home is not really that close in my future, because I have to know where I actually want to live and settle down and stay for a long period of time. So why should I continue to put this pressure on myself and feel bad or feel guilty that I'm not able to buy a house at 30 years old, when in actuality, I don't even want a house right now? An apartment of my own, yeah, sure, but a house? No, I don't want that responsibility right now. And that's okay. I don't have to want these things, and I'm not abnormal for choosing to postpone some milestones of success in our society. So I think that a healthier way to look at 20s and 30s, and the way that I'm trying to look at them moving forward, is that these are decades for just laying the groundwork. Your 20s are a time to explore, to take big risks, to make a ton of mistakes, to fail, and to really just try to understand who you are. And now when I look at my 20s, I did exactly that. And I did the corporate thing, and I lived in New York City, I lived alone, I had an apartment, and then I decided that I wasn't happy, and I quit my job, and I moved to Italy, and I tried to start a business, and it didn't work. So I started teaching, and I explored a new kind of career. And when my time was up in Italy, I came back home. And now, going into my 30s, I'm taking all of that experience, all of those lessons that I've learned, and trying to figure out, okay, how do I use that to really cement who I am and what I want for myself, and create the steps to make it happen. But I think the most important thing for all of us to remember, and I think it's the hardest thing to put into practice, is that we can't be so focused on the goals that we have in our life that we forget to actually live the moments in between. Because everything, as cliche as it may sound, everything is about the journey. And if you're not trying to embrace the day here and now, it's very difficult to actually have a good life. And the thing is, things are gonna be hard, and failure is normal, and making mistakes is normal. And sometimes they're very painful, and sometimes they will throw you off balance. And I know from experience, because I've made mistakes and I've made decisions that have hurt me. But what I'm trying to do now is to recover and to move forward and to use the lessons that I've gained from all of those experiences in my life to lead me to the life that I really want. But I have to remember that it's a process, and I have to experience a little joy along the way. And so I hope for any of you who are watching, just remember, life is hard enough, and you've got to try to find the little things that help you to enjoy it and not just feel miserable or down because you're not doing what you're supposed to do, or your life isn't together. I think when you can let go of that, it becomes easier to realize that even if we feel like we're falling behind, we're probably not. You know, we're probably exactly where we need to be. And if you do actually have some catching up to do, you can do it. There is always still time. And you're not alone.
Very good. That was very good.
Yeah. So what did y'all take away from this video? Like, what is something that you kind of, I see Kevon says, facts, sometimes it's good to get off social media. And so I'll start this off because what held you back last year? So me, I have a lot of negative self-talk. Like even though I'm accomplishing all of the things that I've accomplished, I'll in my brain I'll create this narrative that, hey, this is not working. This is, you should have done this better. You're not doing this better. You're not on track. Just kind of like what she was saying. And what I see in therapy a lot of clients come in with this timeline on their life. Like they have to achieve these milestones, kind of what she was talking about, at certain ages. And if you don't meet these milestones, then you feel like you failed. You feel like you've been held back. And that's why I wanted to hear kind of what everybody was feeling that held them back. I will say mine is negative self talk. Like just negative self talk. Okay, so we have some responses out there. And co host, you can jump in anytime.
Absolutely. So it looks like Tennille Johnson said, live in the present. Social media and comparison is the thief of joy. And I agree with you.
Oh, yes. You don't know how many clients come in and they look at social media and it just makes them depressed because what they're doing is comparing their lives to what's going on social media. But what does people do on social media? They present the most positive aspects of their lives. They're not going to put on there that they're crying or they struggled today or whatever. Some people will, but I don't want to generalize. But most people are going to put the positive aspects of their life for display on social media.
Pat says, mine is negative self talk too.
Okay. Okay. And so, what would you define negative self talk as, Danielle?
So, as far as what you were saying in regard, first off, let me talk about social media first.
Okay, go ahead.
Social media could be your best friend and your worst enemy.
Oh, yeah.
It's just like money. If you give it to somebody that has good intentions, they can do a lot of good with it. But if you give it to somebody who has bad intentions, they could do a lot of bad with it. So social media is that same thing. And the thing is, we live in a society where everybody says they're a leader, but really
Hmm.
everybody is a follower. And that's the problem because nobody is really content where they are. If your eyes are brown, you want to get contacts and make them
Yep.
green. If your hair is curly, you want to straighten it. If it's black, you want to make it blonde. And you know what I mean? Like nobody's really happy the way that things are in their reality. Let me not say nobody, but you know what I mean when I speak in extremes.
Like most people. Yeah, most.
Right. So, but with that, it's unavoidable then if you are not content completely with yourself to watch all of this in front of you being exposed to all of these things, and of course it's influencing,
Hmm.
not
Hmm.
be influenced and not compare it, because when you see something that's attractive, you recognize what's attractive. If you walk by a store and you see something in the window, you're like, I want that. Same
Hmm.
thing with social media. You look at somebody else's lifestyle and you're like, I want that.
I want
You know,
that.
I want that.
Hmm.
Instead of saying I'm happy for them. You know
Hmm.
what I mean? There's a difference there. And so, as far as the social media goes, I think that it really comes back down to what I would say held me back last year. And
Okay.
that was lack of self-love, lack
Mm.
of self-understanding, lack of a plan.
Mhm.
So when you don't have a plan and you don't have like, this is what I want to do here, this is how the steps I'm gonna take to get there. It's important to write things down. Otherwise,
Mhm.
you will feel like, what did I accomplish? But when you start writing things down, you can start checking those things off, and that is a reminder and an encourager for you to keep going. You can
Mhm.
success that you made. So I wasn't writing as much down that I should have been writing down last year. I was in a relationship that I felt like really exhausted me emotionally and mentally and physically
Mhm.
and financially. And you know what I mean? I ended up in some really tough situations last year, but also I'm
Mhm.
through those situations last year. And not only did I make it through those situations last year, I made it as a published author. I
Exactly.
relocated from one state to another. I became a mother all over again in my 40s. And I'm doing an awesome job as a single parent. So I had to give myself kudos for the journey, because now I'm starting to get out of the mindset of, if this person had not have done this to me, or if I hadn't experienced this and I could have done this, or I should have done that. And I can get to focusing on, I did make it through all of that. So there must
Mhm.
be a bigger purpose for me. And not only that, this is what I'm going to do with what I have to do now. My attention now is not on that. My attention now is on, I did that to myself. Because if I'm
Mhm.
loving on myself the way that I should have been, if I'd have had the boundaries up that I should have had, if I'd have listened to my first mind, if I'd have listened to God, if I did whatever it is that you do to get real sound direction, real
Mhm.
sound advice, had you done that and actually listened, then you wouldn't have been in the situation. So I kind of had to take the blame off of the circumstances and everything else and kind of take responsibility
And
for
look
the
at
life I wanted to live.
right. So you took ownership of your own life.
Exactly. And then when you take ownership of your life, not only you don't have to feel depressed about it, like I'm a terrible person or I make terrible decisions or whatever. What
Right.
happens is you start to feel empowered. You start to
Mhm.
feel like, well, if I had the power to do that, I have the power to do the opposite. What can I do to change it around? And then you start to plan it. And so now I'm in the mindset of, yeah, bad things is gonna come. I know that. That's life.
That's a part of it, right?
But
It's a part of
now
the
I believe
experience.
in my strength.
Mhm.
I believe that I can make it through. So, in every day, you're going to just get stronger and stronger as long as you're still believing in yourself. Everything isn't about the circumstances or what you're accomplishing, because tomorrow's not promised to anybody.
Right.
A lot of
Right.
times we want to work real hard and stress out today for what we might accomplish tomorrow, and tomorrow may never come.
It's kind of like what she said in the video. We're so focused on the goals that we're not actually living life at the same time. So we have a few comments. Karina says, I've held myself back for years, including in 2022. I guess I felt I wasn't good enough and I put limitations on myself because of my situation and circumstances too. Yes. And I don't, I tell my clients this all the time. I don't know why we naturally criticize ourselves on everything. We never focus on the positive. What I like what you said, Danielle, just a second ago, you focused on the positive things that you've accomplished. Yeah, you stated that you had some negative things that happened, but you actually focused on, you said, I accomplished this, I accomplished this. You should see how many times when I'm in therapy and I'll ask people, tell me negative things about yourself. They just ramble off this list. And then I said, well, tell me some positive things about yourself, and they're just like, um, yes. So, Karina, it sounds like you're experiencing a lot of negative self-talk with yourself and staying in your own head and not allowing yourself to give yourself grace, give yourself, allow yourself to make mistakes, allow yourself to, and you are good enough. I see that you said I felt like I wasn't good enough. We're all good enough. Everything is like, I went to church Sunday and the pastor said sometimes fear keeps us down. And he said what God has is on the other side of fear is everything that you've been wanting. And so if we can get past the fear, the negative self-talk, just beating ourselves up on a regular basis, I do not know why it's so natural for us to just self-doubt, sabotage, self-sabotage all the time. So, and
In
then
my
Karen,
opinion,
okay, go ahead.
in my opinion, yes, I want to get to the comments too, but in my opinion, since we brought up the God subject, in my opinion, it kind of started way back with the deception, because we were deceived to believe that we weren't good enough. And that's
Hmm.
what he said, well, if you take of this fruit, if you take of this, then you'll be like us, which made them believe that they weren't perfect in God's image, like he created them. And
Right.
ever since then, we have doubted our perfection. We have doubted our purpose. And it's something that we still spiritually and internally deal with. So in my opinion, it's just something that's kind of came along with that curse, and just something that was instilled in us way back. And it's just been something that's just we've carried that generational curse on and on.
Curse.
Because like you say, you're in therapy, you ask people to tell you something bad about yourself, or you ask somebody to tell you something good about yourself, and they have a variance there of what they express. And the same thing, ask somebody to name 5 things that you love. See how long it takes them to name themselves.
Yep. They struggle every time, every time. And I'm like, wow. So Karen, I don't want to miss anybody's comment. Karen says, um, where did it go? Lately I have been pulling back from social media as I have noticed that I am slipping into comparing. Are we still there? Do you feel stuck? Are you still there?
Me?
Yeah, are you still there, Danielle?
Oh, no, no, no. I'm here. I'm here. You were frozen a little bit, but I'm still here.
Oh, okay.
No,
Okay.
I heard the comment. I mean, I heard you read the comment from Karen.
Okay, good.
Yes,
Okay.
yes. And then there's also a comment here from Karina.
Oh yeah.
She said, so many people, including myself, have felt like her. I'm assuming she's referring to the video. At one point or another, I definitely take a step back when I start feeling that way.
Okay, good. So what I'm hearing, a lot of people are developing a coping skill, is what we call it in therapy, where you realize that social media is starting to impact you negatively, and so you decide to pull back. Hey, Michelle. Hey, Tanisha. And I think that's Jeremiah had a comment.
That's
So
my
Karen,
brother. That's
that's
my
your brother.
that's my baby brother. Thank you for
So
the
I'll
support,
let you,
brother.
yeah, I'll let you read
He's
his comment.
also he's also a school psychologist, so we definitely got to get him on. He has a lot to
Yes,
share as well. But he said amen to one of the things that we had talked about, and then he also said exactly that's the locus of control,
it sure is.
and whom is believed to have the power over our lives. Ultimately, we are in control, as she said. Well done.
Awesome. Okay.
I, I think that's all the comments except for the greetings. Hi, everybody.
Yes. So what else did people take away from the video?
That's my daughter said, hey guys. Hey, Michaela, Monarch Studios.
Oh, there you go. Oh, you're getting all the support tonight.
What can I say? They love me. They love me.
Good, good. I am
No,
so glad that y'all are here too.
yes, guys. So, Kayla, you came in a little bit late, but we're talking about what held us back last year that we want to do differently this year. So, go ahead and in the comments, you guys, let us know what your thoughts were. Let us know if you were on when we showed the video, what your thoughts were, what were your takeaways from the video, and what the lady was sharing. She shared a lot of nuggets, in my opinion. She talked a lot about how it was in her head, really.
Right,
She talked a lot about
right.
the fact that she was comparing herself to others and was saying, why haven't I reached these milestones, when it was milestones that she didn't even desire to reach? And that's
Exactly.
what was crazy to me. We
But we
can
all do it
put ourselves in areas that we're not even really concerned with. That's not even really important to us. Why do we do that?
because we see it on social media. We see it in media in general, like on TV and all of that stuff. And you don't know how many clients come in with milestones like, oh, I didn't by 30, by 40, I still have nothing, but you have something. You just haven't taken the time to appreciate and be grateful for all the things that you've accomplished. So if you don't get anything from this video tonight, is be give yourself grace and know that you've accomplished. Start to list the things that you've accomplished. You made a good point, Danielle. You said the way that you kind of focus on the things that you get accomplished is you write them down. I do the same thing. I write everything that I plan to do, if it's for the day or for the year, I write it down, because therefore it will start to manifest, because I'm like, oh, I need to do this thing so that this other thing can work, and vice versa, whatever that takes. And I feel like that's why journaling is so therapeutic for people, because they get out of here and they put it onto the paper, and that helps them process it. I see it.
Absolutely. Writing is definitely important. That's definitely therapy for me. Comment from Karen says, negative self talk runs through my head. I struggled with planning last year. I stepped up on self care and creativity and took control of many circumstances that appeared to be out of my hands. Awesome
I love
job,
that.
Karen. I am
I
so
love
glad
that, Karen.
you see that progress. I'm glad that you ended your comment with the positive. That's definitely what's getting us all to the next step.
Hmm.
And
Because we're just
go
so
ahead.
used to just staying negative. Like,
Absolutely.
yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, it's easier that way. And
Hmm.
I think too that a lot of reasons why we're in that mindset, especially when we're striving for things that we're not even wanting just because it's the social norm to be a standard to have it by a certain deadline or age or whatever. I think
Hmm.
it's because we don't want to be judged as not being successful. Like, for
Right.
instance, if I want the respect from certain people that are around me, they value certain things. So I feel like if I don't show them that I have those things, they won't value me.
Right. So
And
that validation.
exactly, exactly. Instead of just being content and like, hey, love me for who I am, I'll love you for who you are. And when you were talking about fear and what the pastor said, I was like, amen, because in my opinion, there's only two energies that exist. That's fear and love.
Yep.
Fear and love. Fear causes like a lot of things that we do. We say, oh, it's anger, it's this and that. That's just an expression of fear. In my opinion, there's only two energies that we need to deal with, and that's fear and love. So
I love that.
get,
I love that.
get,
And what I do teach my clients is that, because they'll do control too, and control is just another form of fear. And I totally agree. Everything is based off of fear, and fear is not even real. I think Will Smith said that that's not even real. It's not a real thing. It's just something we've created in our head, which is most of the negative self-talk that we talked about.
exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. We have some comments here. We have Michaela Monarch Studio said, I think for me, it's been procrastinating and self-sabotaging. I've been waking up
Mm,
early, journaling, and doing yoga to become more self-disciplined.
love that.
Absolutely, absolutely. And Michelle says, that's what I was doing last year, worrying about the things I didn't have, but I really have a lot of things this year. I have a lot this year. I'm going to focus on all the things I have and what other blessings come, I will enjoy. Way to go.
I'm loving
I'm
these.
just like,
Yeah.
whoa, like you guys are inspiring me. I think we have,
And that's yeah, I was trying. I think is it
yeah.
Karen? Yeah. Okay. Karen says, "Amen. I am a positive person, and outside influences try to take me down. When you step up in your own life, it is empowering. Yes, and you do have to be careful of the people that you have around you. I noticed that famous cliche or saying that people say, birds of a feather flock together. I honestly believe that you start taking on characteristics of the people around you. So if they're not doing anything, guess what? You're going to eventually start not doing anything. So you want to surround yourself around positive people, because that's why I put in the question, it was like, what held you back last year? Was it you or was it other people? Because sometimes it is other people. Sometimes our support systems tell us that we can't do something. And another key nugget that I want to put out there is stop asking people who have never done anything for their advice. Like, say for instance, if you say you're going to write a book and you ask Tom or Susie over there and she has never wrote a book, and you're like, well, should I write a book? And guarantee they're going to say, oh no, that's hard, that's for people who um, have doctorates and who've accomplished all these accolades. And it's absolutely not true. So one thing I want y'all to take away is stop asking people for their advice, especially if they have no experience in the thing that you're trying to accomplish. Yeah, I think you froze, Danielle.
That I have to play devil's advocate here.
Okay.
I agree with everything that you said. So that makes me put
Hmm.
it back on myself. Like, can people really hold me back if I had healthy boundaries? If I was loving myself the way I was supposed to?
True. That's a good point. You're right.
Because if
But
we have the power, if we give the power to somebody else, then when do we have the power to change it?
But if you don't become aware that they're the ones that are influencing you, then you get stuck and then you allow them. That's what I tell people. Until you become aware of what the issue is, you won't know. Because yeah, I can say, oh, I'm just hanging with my friends every weekend. I'm thinking it's cool. I'm not thinking that they're influencing me, but subconsciously
Mhm.
they are bringing me to their level. It is my fault. In the end, it's my ownership. I totally agree with you, but you have to surround yourself with positive people.
And I
It's just like when you were
because you are
uh-huh.
what you take in all the time, what you eat, what you see,
Right.
what you read, what you watch, like what you hear. It becomes a part of your makeup and who you become as a person, especially if you're accepting it on a consistent basis.
Right.
Because if
And
you
so but
couldn't
what
tolerate
happens
it, you wouldn't be around it.
exactly. But that's the thing. People tolerate and then they take on those characteristics, and before they know it, they're a couch potato just like their friend. And that's where shows like this, where you become aware that that's even a possibility, then you can say, oh my gosh, I gave up my control and I didn't even realize it. So I'm glad you brought that point up, because it is you that's evidently responsible for your own, you know,
Your own
pushing forward
because
or your success.
God didn't give your purpose to nobody but you. Nobody's gonna
Right.
protect your
Right.
purpose like you should.
Right.
So at the end of the day, it just comes back down to healing yourself. Healing yourself
Yes.
enough to where you know what's not healthy. You
Mhm.
know when things are not productive. Like, you
Yep.
have to get yourself to a point where if you want to be a professional, that you have to think like one.
Mhm.
You have to study what professionals do. You have to be willing to invest in yourself so that you can eliminate those things out of your life that will influence you and bring you down. But ultimately, I just wanted to make that point just so that people that were watching would understand that the power is still within you.
It's still within you.
Right.
And that is so true. It's still within you. Okay, we got a comment. Tanisha says, unfortunately, I was scammed out of a lot of money in February last year that I had doing so well saving up. The only positive things I can say is that I learned so much from that mistake, and I am slowly but steadily building all back this year. So, what do you
Wow.
have to say on that?
I think that comment was meant for me.
Okay, okay.
Tanisha, I don't know you, but I feel you. I lost $30,000 last year
Wow,
and ended up in a homeless shelter.
wow.
So when I tell you I had a rough last year, I could relate, sister. I could relate. And even though I went through that, what I've gained on this side of just staying in love, because I wanted to, you lose that kind of money, you like, okay, a different character gonna have to come out. But yeah, let me
Uh-huh.
personal aside. We go bring out the other side of
Mhm.
Arthur today. Take the author off. We just go. No, but then actually I started to watch some videos that really taught me about me and
Hmm.
how I allowed myself. And you may not have allowed yourself to be scammed or whatever. I did. I'm taking responsibility for me. But how I allowed myself to allow that to happen and how not to respond in revenge, because whatever energy that I put out, I was going to create more to come back to me. And I am a firm believer in karma.
Hmm.
So I had to let go of the anger and the revenge desire. And I had to start really asking the higher power, I refer to him as God, how do you forgive? Because it's easy to walk away from a situation and not deal with it and say that it doesn't affect you anymore, but that's not real forgiveness, because if it was in your face, would it affect you? How do
Yeah.
you heal to the point that if it was in your face, you could still respond in love? And so when I started really practicing love over fear, I ended up getting more back, and it ain't even been a year. We in January. This happened to me in April.
Wow.
It hasn't even been a year since I have gotten that back plus some. So as long as you are operating in love, sis, I just want to encourage you that it's going to come back tenfold. Don't worry about it.
So that was meant for you. This was specifically meant for you to address this topic. Yeah. But I love that both of y'all are saying that y'all learned from this experience, and you learned how to push forward, and you took something from that. Uh,
Absolutely. To God be the glory, Karen. But yes, no, I definitely, I wouldn't be here on your show had I not gone through that though.
right. Wow.
And that's why it was coined when I was writing my book and I was talking to the lady that was helping me publish the book. And I said, I turned my abuse into a bestseller. See, a lot of times we live in
Hmm.
shame and we don't want to tell our story. We go through things like that you were talking about, Tanisha, and we want to hide behind it, or we don't want to really deal with us and what we could get out of that. And what happens when we do that is we stifle our own growth and success. Everything that you want is on the other side. Like you really do have to get to that other side. You got to get to the other side where you could forgive yourself. And then, like you're listening to me tell my story right now, you never know how it is going to change your life or how it will change somebody else's life just by you inspiring somebody else. Because nothing that we go through is in vain. It's nothing is for reason, for no reason. Even if it's the worst thing that you could have went through and you didn't deserve it, I guarantee you, if you look for the lesson out of it, you're going to be a better person after it.
Awesome. Keep talking. I gotta plug something up because my computer unplugged.
No problem. I can definitely do that because I was the Energizer Bunny as a kid, y'all. Like I talk. But I think this is an amazing topic. And I think that, especially with what I talked about in my book, The House Without Doors, it expressed a lot about what I went through in my younger childhood, all the way up until age 25. Other book 2 and 3 are coming. I've been being asked, they're coming, you guys. I just want to make sure that everybody has had the opportunity to be updated on the first book before I release the second one. But the book talks about how lack of protection, me growing up without a father, things like that, things that I went through. So I'm saying that to say, a lot of people want to talk about things that they didn't have or things that they don't have and things like that. But you can make your life what you want it to be. Looking back at my story, you would never think that I would be here today. And so, really, when you get to a point where you get tired of being sick and tired and you really do the hard work to heal, there's nothing that can hold you back from the life that you desire. I mean, your best life, better than what you desire. There's nothing that can hold you back. So I'm glad that we're having this topic, because with everything that we've gone through, we're still here. We are still batting 100. We
Yes.
still got an opportunity. As long as you got air to breathe and you're breathing and your heart is beating and you're able to be about, you could change anything. Anything. And it's only the fact that
Speak.
you need to learn yourself as to why you haven't changed it. We can't blame that on anybody else. However, we allow people to come in and poison our life
Hmm.
and our future. We need to detox more than just what we eat.
Social media, all of that stuff,
We
because
need to
all of
come off
that
all of
negative.
that.
Yes, because it all negatively and it's the subconscious of it is that's how it sneaks in because you're not cognizant of it at the moment until you're in the middle of it and you're like, how did I get here?
Right.
How in the world did I get here? And that is why.
Karen
My
said, this
computer.
is a great topic and conversation to start off the new year. Thank you both. You are so welcome. Thank you for joining us.
Yes.
This helps us feel like we are making a difference. At least it does for me. I know it does for you too. You guys are giving to us as much as we are giving to you. Thank you so much. Please like and share this. More people need to see topics like this.
Right. And so thank you everybody who joined. Does anybody else have anything else to say? I'm so glad, Daniel, you will be back
Of course
whenever
I will.
you know, you could be my co. I love it. I love the dialogue that you brought. I love the experiences that you brought. Like you said, some things were specifically for you to address, and I love that. I love your spirit. I love working with you. I'm so glad we met, and thank you for being on here.
Thank you again
And
for having me. It's always an honor. And thank you guys so much for your love in the comments. I look forward to you guys also following me, getting my book. You guys, please pass the word around. Thank you.
yes, and follow her. I don't. She's on my page, so you'll see me tagging her. Just follow her, follow her, follow her. Get her book and all of that, and she will be back. All right.
I got
Everybody have a great Friday. Thank you for giving us, 58 minutes of your time, and it has been a pleasure. And have a great rest of the weekend.
Happy New
Happy New
Year,
Year.
everybody.
Oops.